Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for August 21st, 2021, from Psalm chapter 44, a prayer for victory. Verse 1, O God, we have heard with our ears. Our fathers have told us what deeds you performed in their days, in the days of old. You with your own hand drove out the nations, but them you planted. You afflicted the peoples, but them you set free. For not by their own sword did they win the land, nor did their own arm save them, but your right hand and your arm and the light of your face, for you delight in them. The psalmist notes what God had previously done, like remembering Moses leading the people of Israel out of Egypt from that slavery. This was 100% God's doing and God's work. The people of Israel really didn't do anything. They went along for the ride, so to speak. This is 100% God's doing. Verse 4, You are my king, O God. Ordain salvation for Jacob. Through you we push down our foes. Through your name we tread upon those who rise up against us. For not in my bow do I trust, nor can my sword save me, but you have saved us from our foes and have put to shame those who hate us. In God we have boasted continually, and we will give thanks to your name forever. The psalmist continues this theme that God is the one who does the work, so that the psalmist then concludes by boasting and thanking God. The psalmist notes it wasn't by his sword or his actions that they were saved, but by God's doing. However, there is a complaint. Why? Verse 9, But you have rejected us and disgraced us, and have not gone out with our armies. You have made us turn back from the foe, and those who hate us have gotten spoil. You have made us like sheep for slaughter, and have scattered us among the nations. You have sold your people for a trifle, demanding no high price for them. Oops! This is now the hard part. The psalmist seems to suggest that there's a change of heart in God. So the psalmist then continues this line of thought. Verse 13, You have made us the taunt of our neighbors, the derision and scorn of those around us. You have made us a byword among the nations, a laughing stock among the peoples. All day long my disgrace is before me, and shame covered my face at the sound of the taunter and the reviler, at the sight of the enemy and the avenger. Where is God in the midst of this? The psalmist seems to suggest that God abandoned them. Did God? The answer is no. God is still there. God will rescue. As the prophet says in Zechariah chapter 8, verse 13, And as you have been a byword of cursing among the nations, O house of Judah and house of Israel, so will I save you, and you shall be a blessing. Fear not, but let your hands be strong. So we know how this is going to end. So join me again tomorrow as we get to finish this psalm. God's peace and many blessings be with you. And thank you for listening. And please take an opportunity to share this message with others. If you have enjoyed these daily devotions, please consider making a donation to Peace Lutheran Church, 24024 West Main Street, Plainfield, Illinois, 60544. Thank you again for listening.